former boxer and drug mule Bradley Thomas loses his job at an auto repair shop. Upon returning home, he finds his wife, Lauren, sitting in her car, speaking to someone on the phone. As he approaches, he notices a love bite on her neck. When confronted, Lauren confesses that she has been seeing another man. Filled with rage, Bradley orders her inside before violently demolishing her car with his bare hands. Once he calms down, he enters the house, and they have a serious conversation about their deteriorating marriage. Despite his anger, Bradley ultimately decides to forgive Lauren and refocus on providing for their future. To secure financial stability, he returns to drug trafficking. 18 months later, Bradley and a now pregnant Lauren have upgraded to a larger, more expensive home. Bradley continues working under his boss, Gil, who introduces him to a new business partner, Eliezer. With this new partnership comes an assignment. Bradley is instructed to accompany 2 of Eliezer's men on a boat trip to retrieve a shipment of crystal meth. Though Bradley is wary of one of the men, Roman, he ultimately agrees to the job when Gil offers him 3 months of paternity leave. When they arrive at the pier, Bradley senses something is wrong and suspects an impending police ambush. Reacting quickly, he discards his bag into the water and orders the other 2 men to do the same. However, they refuse and, instead, engage in a shootout with the police, injuring 3 officers. At this moment, Bradley hesitates, contemplating whether to flee, but ultimately chooses to take action against Eliezer's men, shooting them to aid the police. The 3rd drug trafficker is killed in the exchange, and Bradley is arrested. He is sentenced to 7 years in a medium-security prison. During his 2nd day in prison, Bradley is visited by a man known as the Placid Man, who reveals that he works for Eliezer. He delivers a chilling message: unless Bradley kills an inmate named Christopher Bridge, who is housed in the Red Leaf Correctional Facility, a high-security prison, Lauren's unborn child will be mutilated limb by an abortionist and the remains will be sent to him. Left with no choice, Bradley agrees to the demand. Determined to get transferred to Red Leaf, Bradley instigates a violent altercation with multiple prison guards, forcing them to escalate his confinement. Overpowered and restrained, he is eventually moved to Red Leaf, where he meets the ruthless Warden Tuggs, an authoritarian figure who takes pleasure in controlling the prison's most dangerous inmates. As punishment for his violent outburst, Bradley is placed in a disgusting cell with a clogged toilet overflowing with filth. When he is finally allowed outside for yard time, another inmate informs him that Christopher Bridge is not actually in his section of the prison but is housed in a notoriously brutal part of the facility, cell block 99. Determined to complete his mission, Bradley provokes another fight with inmates, which results in his transfer to cell block 99. Upon arrival, Warden Tuggs explains that cell block 99 is reserved for society's most despised and dangerous criminals, where extreme punishments are devised to break their spirits. Bradley is forced to wear a stun belt that delivers painful electric shocks at the press of a button. As further punishment for his disruptive behavior, he is placed in a cell lined with broken glass, containing only a crude squat toilet hole. Later, Bradley communicates with an inmate in the adjacent cell, who reveals that Christopher Bridge does not exist. He was sent to Red Leaf under false pretenses. That night, a young, brutal guard named Wilson escorts Bradley to a larger room, where Eliezer, Roman, and 2 other gang members await. The gang tortures Bradley using the electric belt, shocking him repeatedly while taunting him with threats against Lauren. The relentless pain and humiliation render Bradley unconscious, and he is dragged back to his glass-lined cell. Refusing to succumb, Bradley formulates a plan. He rips the lining from his shoes and places the rubber between his body and the stun belt, creating insulation that prevents the shocks from affecting him. When Wilson and another guard arrive, Bradley takes them by surprise. He kills Wilson and incapacitates the second guard, locking him inside a cell. Now free to confront his captors, Bradley advances toward Eliezer and his men. In a vicious hand-to-hand fight, he brutally eliminates the 3 henchmen. During the battle, Eliezer attempts to call the Placid Man, instructing him to activate the abortionist and carry out the gruesome threat. However, Bradley gains the upper hand, severely injuring Eliezer by breaking his leg. He then forces Eliezer to call the Placid Man and negotiate Lauren's release. It is agreed that Lauren will be taken safely to Gil's house. As Eliezer lies injured, Bradley drags him across the broken glass, ensuring he suffers while awaiting confirmation of Lauren's freedom. Meanwhile, outside the prison, the Placid Man and the abortionist follow Eliezer's orders and drive Lauren unharmed to Gil's home. However, as they attempt to leave, Gil retrieves a hidden assault rifle and guns down the Placid Man. Lauren then picks up the rifle and shoots the abortionist, ensuring their safety. Gil immediately calls Bradley to inform him that his family is finally secure. With his mission complete, Bradley shares a final conversation with Lauren, expressing his love for her and their unborn child. Knowing his fate is sealed, he destroys the cell phone and turns to face Warden Tuggs, reminding him that he still has 60 seconds of freedom left. Bradley then executes his final act. He shoves Eliezer's face into the squat toilet hole and stomps repeatedly on his neck, decapitating him. Moments later, Warden Tuggs and his men storm the cell. Without hesitation, Warden Tuggs fires twice, one shot to the chest and one to the head, bringing Bradley's life to